Well, the PVL is more than halfway over the elimination round, and fans have been buzzing over who is having the best performance in the All-Filipino Conference. While a lot may still happen in the course of the next 2 weeks, some players have made obvious impacts in their respective squads. Now joining us to give us her list of MVP frontrunners is PVL analyst Noreen Go, joining us via Zoom. Noreen, how are you doing?
I'm great. I miss you guys. How are you guys?
You don't miss us enough. You're not here.
I know.
But Noreen, thank you again for coming on. First of all, when you take a look at this list, syempre, there are going to be a few snubs, a few players that some people might have hoped that we're going to be talking about. But then in terms of yung criteria mo, what did you think of? What did you look at?
Well, of course, I looked at the different skills category. They just can't be playing well in one skills category. They have to be at least in the top 10 of 2 or 3 skills category to qualify for an MVP.
All right, and as Pao mentioned earlier, yun nga, we don't have such a long list for tonight.
Yeah.
We asked you for 3 names so far, and alam natin the elimination round is still ongoing. And let's talk about your first pick, who just played a while ago and won the game in 3 sets. Michelle Gumabao.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a breakout season for her. I mean, conference for her. We have to mention, yes, Eliza Valdez is not playing, but you know, her leadership, aside from her numbers, really, as you can see there, number 3 best scorer, 1st best spiker, and 7th best block. So she's playing an all-around game, but more than the numbers, I feel really, is the leadership that she brings to Creamline. So if the chemistry is working A-OK minus, let's say, Eliza Valdez. So they're looking good still in this conference.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people, it's funny that we're saying it's a breakout conference from her because medyo veterana na siya in terms of in the volleyball scene. But then what about her is different now compared to previous conferences? Because as you mentioned, obviously Eliza's not there. More people need to step up. But then what's most impressive for you based on her recent resurgence?
Me, really, it's her efficiency. I mean, when we watch the games, like every time she gets a set, chances are, I think she'll score because she's just so, for me, her mindset is really in a different place. She's just so focused. So every time they call on her, and we're talking about a team that has so many talents, but when they call on her, she delivers. So that's why she's been playing big for Creamline.
All right, and speaking of efficiency, let's move over to your second pick. Number 1 scorer so far in the league, we got Mylene Paat.
Well, I mean, Mylene Paat, for me, 2022, she ended it with a bang, which is good for her and her fans. And she's continuing this year, this conference. Big numbers. 1st best scorer, you can see, 7th best spiker, 4th best server. Is that blocker?
Blocker, yes.
Yeah, blocker. So, I mean, she's also contributing in different aspects of the game. But what I like about Paat is really what she's bringing to Cherry right now. We know that there were changes, off-season, you know, acquisitions and whatnot. But it looks like they're playing well, they're happy, and they're hoping that they can probably make it into the Final Four. Of course, they're hoping, but Mylene Paat's got to do what she's doing, you know, like the end of last year and the start of this year.
Well, you know, Mylene, again, as typical from her recently, putting up a reinforcement-like numbers. And we talk about inconsistency. And do you feel that right now it's more of a case that Cherry have to get the pieces around her firing as well? Because it's almost a given that Mylene will score for this Cherry team.
Oh, absolutely, Pao. I mean, we know that she's going to perform. She's going to score. But her teammates, they have to follow suit. You know, they have to believe that, you know, we're here, okay? We may not have been here before, but we're here now.
Yeah.
We are contenders for the next round. They have to believe, and they do have to follow suit. Everyone really has to contribute. But she is really the soul, the heart and soul of the team. And if they take from her, her energy, her attitude, then you never know what's going to happen to Cherry.
All right, speaking of energy and attitude in the court, we already mentioned Michelle Gumabao, number 3 scorer. We got Mylene Paat, number 1 scorer. Let's talk about your number 2 scorer, Din Santiago-Manabat.
Well, again, she's in a new team. I'm sure there's a lot of adjustments. You know, I mean, the new system, new teammates, but she looks like she's recovered from her injuries. She's getting, obviously, a lot of playing time as compared to the end of last year. So you can see her number there. 2 in scoring, 8 best spiker, 9 best server. I mean, these are great numbers for a new and young team, and they will just continue to get better for me.
You know, you take a look at Din and you mentioned that she is moving to a new team and it felt like she had to adapt, she had to adjust. Sa palagay mo ba, is she still on an upward trend in terms of what she could be in terms of this group? Kasi we all know that the role that she's taking over is kind of like Mama P's role before, wherein that she was the one teaching this young core how to win.
Oh, for me, it's only starting. She's just getting started. And things will just keep looking better and brighter for Akari.
What do you think, Noreen, can Din bring to this new team? We know this is her first conference so far, and as the elimination round has progressed, what's something that Din brings into Akari?
Well, for me, really, aside again from the numbers, that's why we're talking about MVP candidate is. Aside from the numbers, she brings leadership. Not just, the vocal leadership. For me, emotional leadership is very important.
Yeah.
Her team now can believe in her, look to her that, okay, we have a Din Santiago-Manabat in our team. So she'll take us places. We have to believe as well. So it's really the psyche of the team with her in the fold.
I was going to ask you a while ago whether or not you believe that if another player can come in and break this 3 and make it a 4-horse race or even more. But unfortunately, we don't have enough time for that, and we're going to have to move on right after this.